Boom. Hey, yo. What's going on, everybody? Slide on. Welcome here. Back on the live stream. Getting ready to start my work day. Excuse me. If you're new to the channel, covering everything wholesale real estate on the channel. Try to go live at least once a day. Aside from Wednesdays, I go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Just kind of documenting my day here. Again, covering everything wholesaling real estate, specifically virtually wholesaling real estate, as that's what I'm doing. Currently living out in California, and I'm sourcing opportunity in the Houston, Texas market. So if you are in the Houston market or any market at that, and you'd like to connect, I'd love to network with you, see if we can make something shake, see how I may be able to provide value in any way that I can. Um, and welcome. If you take anything away from this video or other videos on my channel, I would appreciate if you hit the like and subscribe button. Just passed 100 subscribers the other day. And we're on a fast track to the thousand sub mark. So again, if you take anything away from it, I'd greatly appreciate a like and subscribe. Check out the links in the description. A couple links down there. Two that I'd love for you guys to check out. One is the Discord group. I just recently created a Discord group, just kind of a way for us to stay connected as a community when I'm not live streaming. And then the other one is my Instagram profile. So yeah, those are the best two ways to get in contact with me. Again, when I'm not streaming, that's really the purpose of it. I found that a lot of people were kind of sliding in my Instagram DMs, asking me questions that other people were asking as well. So I found, I figured I could create a little bit of a central hub, being the Discord group, where we can all stay connected and people can benefit from seeing other people ask their questions, especially if they have the same ones. So I'd love for you guys to join us in there. Again, those links are in the description. A couple other affiliate links in the description for both batch leads and batch skip tracing. Again, I want to be transparent. They are affiliate links. So if you do want to support me and support the channel here, and you're interested in signing up for batch leads or use their skip tracing services, batch skip tracing, I use both of them now. I just signed up for batch leads after I canceled my PropStream account, and I've always used batch skip tracing. When it comes to skip tracing results, I have tried some others here and there, but I found that batch skip tracing definitely produces the best results. They kick you back up to 10 phone numbers, up to 3 emails, last known mailing address, all that good stuff when you skip trace with them. So again, if you do want to support me or the channel, those links are down in the description. Yeah, without further ado, I'm planning on hopping on the dialer here in a minute. I did want to knock something out beforehand, though. Where can I find that? What I want to do, I'm working with, or I continue to work with one of the subscribers here on the channel, Jared. If you guys have been around, you know who he is. I've been kicking all of my Spanish-speaking leads to him and his girlfriend. I think it's his girlfriend. I'm not quite sure, but him and his girl. And she has been contacting my Spanish-speaking leads. And we had one the other day. If you guys were here watching, somebody who I cold called, the woman, her name was Maria. I had called her on one address. She said, "Yeah, I don't even know. It may have just been the wrong number because a gentleman's name was on title for a completely different address that I was calling on." But a woman answered and said, "I want to sell. Here's the address. Please have somebody call me in Spanish." So I emailed Jared and ran right away, and she had called her that day and learned that she was interested in selling. She's asking a somewhat reasonable price, to the point where it would probably be a deal, even if we did lock it up at what her asking price was, which was 90,000. Property right across the street, which is like a perfect cookie cutter comp, sold for 125 as is on market. So again, it's a deal. Now it's just a matter of trying to get her as low as possible so that we can create a little bit of a spread for the both of us, since we will be JVing the deal here. So what I wanted to do, something that Jared had brought up to me the other day, something that I completely forgot about, it slipped my mind, is that we need to develop a Spanish purchase and sale agreement. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Um, and then just another follow up update on that. So that was 2 days ago that happened. We ran comps, figured, yeah, this is a good one. And then yesterday they called the woman back. They were able to talk her down to 85, I believe. It wasn't anything like confirmed. It wasn't like a hard like yes, I'll do 85, but it was definitely what it sounds like was a kind of a soft confirmation that they would entertain the 85. And then I think what happened was her and her husband started to bicker in the background. Uh, I don't know if it was related to the deal. I would imagine so. Sounded like the husband maybe wanted more money or something. She sounds like she wants to be done with it, especially when it comes to the tenant. She doesn't want to deal with the tenant either. Sounded like Rana was, kind of what am I trying to say? Communicating the benefits of working with us, and that we would, participate in the transition process for both her and the tenant. So she seemed to like that. The fact that it was just going to be hands off the whole process. And then yeah, they started to bicker apparently, and Raina was trying to play the, let me place you on a quick hold to see if I can get approval for the 85, yada yada. And then by the time she got back on the phone, it was just bad timing. It sounded like the woman was like, call me back, just call me back tomorrow, just call me back tomorrow. And then she's like, it'll only take a minute. Like, and then she placed her on hold. And then by the time she got back, she had hung up. She tried calling her back a few times, and she was just avoiding her. So, what I'm going to try to do right now is type up, just using Google Translate. I just want to quickly translate the purchase and sale agreement. That way it's ready to go, so that when she does get her back on the phone, whenever that may be, hopefully today, that everything's set up so that she doesn't have to again say, okay, give me a few minutes, let me get this agreement typed up in Spanish and then send it over to you. That way it's just ready to go, so that when she does get her on the phone again, hopefully that is today, she can just say, all right, you're ready, all right, boom, let me send it over. So I'm just gonna quickly use Google Translate. I know that it's not going to translate directly, and I know that when it comes to, this is something that we were talking about yesterday, something that I wanted to ask their opinion of the Marina, because she's the Spanish speaker here, just for her to kind of take a look over, give it a one over after I do the quick translation on Google Translate, because I know one, Google Translate doesn't do the best at translating like the dialect and the lingo, and it's just not, it's not how somebody would actually speak in Spanish. It's more so just the hard translation word for word, which again isn't necessarily how somebody would speak it. So I want her to take a look in that regard. And then two, I know when it comes to like legal jargon and stuff like that, that some words don't have an immediate or direct translation to Spanish, and a lot of times it ends up being like Spanglish, where there is no direct translation into Spanish, so you just end up using the English word, right? So I know that that's gonna be the case as well. But I just want to do it just quickly, quick translation, and I wanted to do that right now. And I know it's not going to be the best content for you guys, but I wanted to hop on here and just kind of shoot the shit with you guys while I do that. So, first line, agreement to purchase real estate. Oops. Agreement to purchase real estate. Acuerdo de compra de bienes inmuebles. See, like, I don't even know. But I'm just going to go ahead and assume that is good. This agreement is between, I'm not going to read every single line, don't worry, but something else that I'm trying to figure out too is the best way to drive for dollars nowadays. Since I used to do it using PropStream, if you've seen my other videos. So I'm now using batch leads to kind of house my my leads. What's up, Jared? I'm Just kind of briefly went over the lead that we were talking about yesterday, and now I'm just quickly translating the agreement real quick. And I can't remember, man. I took so many years in Spanish. I'm surprised, Jared. I wonder, can you speak Spanish? Uh, Surprised Raina doesn't have you bilingual at this point, but I took so many years in Spanish. I took 5 years of Spanish. I went from seventh grade up to junior year in high school. And I was pretty good. I was speaking it pretty good come my junior year in high school, but it's one of those things where you gotta use it or lose it. And by senior year, I stopped taking classes, and I wasn't speaking it hardly at all. But I can't remember when it comes to certain things. You use the masculine version if it's unspecified, right? So like the word seller, I'm looking at right now. It can either be vendedora or vendedor, and I'm pretty sure you use the masculine as the default. I barely understand, but my girl is the one that's good. Man, we both got to get on it then. I'm trying to be speaking fluently. ¿Quieres vender tu casa? uh, and I know, and so I'm just doing this real quick. I was saying, Jared, I know it's not probably the best content, but I just kind of wanted to hop on here and shoot the shit while I do it. Shouldn't take me very long. I'm electing to use the longer agreement here. It's still just like 2 pages. The one I sent you two, Jared. The one was the 1 page agreement that I used for my 2 deals that ended up closing, but I'm just gonna kind of push that one to the waist unless I get like a real simple, very motivated lead that's not really gonna care, which should be like all of the leads that end up closing. I'll use that one, but for the most part, I kind of want to stray away from that because I know, again, I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it a few times. A couple of my goals this year is to kind of legitimize my business both legally and financially. Financially being like tax wise. So when it comes to like legally, I just want to stray away from those quick 1 page. I just want to, if there's an opportunity for me to become a little bit more legitimate in a legal sense, I want to take it. So in this case, it was, translate the 1 page simple agreement or this longer 2 page. It's still very simple, but there's just a little bit more language in there that's going to protect us. We'll give her a call in a few hours. All right, sounds good. Yeah, this should be done. I'll send this through when I'm done with it. It should only take me like 20, 30 minutes. I'll send this over for you guys to take a look at. And yeah, like I mentioned yesterday, I just know that when you use like something like Google Translate, it's just going to translate the words. It's going to translate the word and not necessarily like the flow of the language. It's just saying like this is the English word, this is the Spanish word. Whereas, when it's not necessarily how somebody would actually speak it. So, I'd love for Randa to take a look in that sense and say like, okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like it translates, but it doesn't. Nobody would talk like that. So I'll shoot this over to you once it's done, in probably 20, 30 minutes. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Be right back. Something else that I was thinking about yesterday that I wanted to check is if Batch Leads has all of like the legal information that PropStream had. Like the parcel number or the legal description, stuff like that. Because also, what I had mentioned yesterday, Jared, was it doesn't look like her name is on title, or at least maybe it is, but for sure, a Juan is on title here. That's what. Okay, yeah. Wait, let's see. Land. Okay, yeah. Legal description, subdivision, APN. Okay, yeah, it has all that. It's good. Sale and loan. Yeah, okay. I see that both of them are on title here, or at least, yeah, yeah. Maria and Juan. Tax information, current owner. All right, yeah, it has hella information actually. So that's very good. Very good. All right. Back to the translation. So far I have the first line. This agreement is between seller and buyer. Buyer and buyer and the seller, when mentioned together, may be referred to as parties. See, like that. Parties. Artists. Seller agrees to sell to buyer the property known as which is legally described as you can share it on Google Docs so she can take a look while you edit. All right, it's a good idea. Google Docs. New document. Share it. Exit out of some of these tabs. What's going on? Name before sharing. Purchase and sell agreement. Spanish. This is literally like my old job. I'm telling you. Anybody who works doing what I did can do this. We had the same thing where I was dealing with English speakers, Spanish speakers. We had this service that we would just three-way call through an interpreter to have conversations with all of our Spanish speaking leads. And anytime we had to send them any documents, we would go into the document section and we would have every single document in English and every single document translated into Spanish. Uh, just so funny that when these things pop up, how much it resembles my old job. All right, Jared, I shared it with your email. Let me copy and paste what I have so far. Just making it a little tidier. Let me know if you got that, Jared. Go ahead and delete this. All right, I see you in there. 50 car signs I'm getting came out to like 600 bucks. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that works out for you. That's a very unique way of marketing. Purchase price. Oops. Show you how they're gonna look. Yeah, I'm interested. What's going on, everybody else in here? Welcome. Just a little quick update. What I'm got going on. Translating the purchase and sale agreement that to Spanish. Something that I had failed to even realize was necessary. But I've been kicking my Spanish speaking leads to Jared and his girl, and they've been contacting my Spanish speaking leads. And the lead that popped up the other day sounds like it's a good one, and we're very close on price. Got some soft commitments, and they're gonna try to reconnect with her in a little bit here. And we just want to make sure that if and when they do get her on the phone and they're able to get that agreement, verbally, that everything's ready in terms of the paperwork to just send over to her. That way, they're not having to say, okay, we're gonna type it up in Spanish and then get it to you in a few hours or anything like that. That way, everything's just ready to go, and there's no more delay or having to reconnect it later once everything is ready to go. So that's what I'm doing now. Just kind of using Google Translate to get the kind of like the soft translation, and then I'm sharing the Google Doc with them so that they can go through and just make sure it's a little bit more conversational and sound like somebody would actually make it sound like it's somebody would actually say it. Because a lot of this stuff, to my understanding at least, is more direct translation as opposed to what somebody would actually speak. So I just want to make sure that it's actually making sense. All right. Agreement closing or closing dates. Yep. Right. Access to the property is next. I'll start reading a little bit of this out loud so you guys kind of understand or are aware of what I'm putting in my agreement. So I'm down to access to the property. This is just all under the whole agreement is essentially additional terms. It starts with, this agreement is between seller blank, place to type in or, write out seller, and then blank buyer and seller when mentioned together may be referred to as parties. Seller agrees to sell to buyer the property known as blank, which is where you would put the address, which is legally described as blank, which is a place for you to put the legal description, which is going to be like the lot, block, depending on how it is. Um, what's the word? How it is mapped out in terms of the survey. And then drops down parcel ID number, which is just that APN that you'll see either on PropStream or Batch Leads, which is the parcel number. That way, there's just no confusion. At that point in the agreement, there it's listed in three different ways, so that we all know that what we're talking about. We're talking about this property here. We're talking about this property that has this address. We're talking about this property that is, legally described, so in case you want to look it up in, tax records, or it also has the parcel number. So there's just no dispute, debate, or confusion as to what property we're talking about, and nobody can come later and say, "Oh, I thought you were talking about this property," or you know, just making it crystal clear what we're talking about, what we're buying, what they're selling, all that good stuff. And then it drops down. What I'm pretty much saying is the whole thing is just like additional terms. It says the parties agree to the following terms and conditions, and then it just lists additional terms, and then it's pretty much the entire agreement. So the first one was earnest money. Buyer will pay blank to the escrow agent as an earnest money deposit, which shall be deposited with the title escrow company before closing. If the buyer fails to close, then the earnest money will be forfeited to the seller as full and liquidated damages. Full and liquidated being that there's nothing going above and beyond the earnest money that'll be owed to the seller if the buyer doesn't perform. So there's like that, you want to make that clear as well, so that it's not like, oh, I'm gonna get you for more money. It's like, no, this is what was agreed upon. It's full and liquidated damages, just the earnest money. Next one, purchase price. Buyer will pay the purchase price of blank to seller. The entire purchase price shall be paid to the seller at closing. Um, there's this is what I got. I got this from my coach. Well, not in the coaching program anymore, but and he has a space where you type out the numbers, and then in parentheses you can type it out in letters like you would write a check. so that again, there's no dispute. It's like you can't say, "Oh, I thought there was another zero on the number." It's like, well, right after that, it's typed out so that you can read it. Next one, property sold as is. The buyer is purchasing the property as is. No repairs or improvements will be made to the property by the seller prior to closing. However, this agreement is contingent upon a satisfactory inspection of the property by the buyer. So that's kind of your first out right there, you can say, where it's stated that, this is subject to a satisfactory inspection. So that's kind of that inspection clause that you want in there, in the events that something pops up and something unforeseen in terms of repairs or whatever the case may be, so that you're not held liable and that you can get that earnest money refunded to you. Closing terms and conditions is the next. Closing will be within blank business days of the parties' execution of this agreement, closing or closing date, or a reasonable time thereafter if the seller or buyer is making diligent effort to satisfy any contingencies contained in this agreement. Pretty much saying, here's the closing date, but we're not gonna, nobody's gonna hold the other party, to that hard date if there's something that pops up and everybody's making a reasonable effort to satisfy everything within this agreement here. The buyer will choose the closing agent title company. The title will be transferred by general warranty deed at closing. Seller agrees to provide clear title, free and clear of any liens or encumbrances. If the property is leased at the time of closing, then rents will be prorated and any tenant security deposits will be transferred to the buyer. All taxes will be prorated and any back taxes will be paid by the seller at or before closing. And then right here is the first thing that time it's mentioned that this agreement is assignable. Just to again put it in there, make it clear that it is an option. I don't do the whole like and or assigns when it comes to the buyer. To my understanding, that any agreement, especially in the state of Texas, is assignable by its very nature, and it's honestly unnecessary to even say that it's assignable, but just to again put it out there, for the sake of disclosing. Next one is access to the property, which is where I'm at in terms of translating the agreement here. Seller shall make the property reasonably accessible to buyer's partners, agents, contractors, lenders, assignees, or appraisers prior to closing. The buyer may make the property. The buyer may market the property prior to the close of escrow. This agreement is subject to a satisfactory inspection of the property by the buyer. Again, a bunch of that stuff is just a little bit redundant, slipped in there again, so that there's no dispute later down the road where they say, you can't access the property, or why do I see this, on Craigslist or in Facebook groups? It's like, well, you gave us permission. You've signed off on something that says that we are able to market the property prior to the close of escrow. I mean, that's not exactly how I would respond to that objection there, but again, just for the sake of disclosing, this agreement is subject again to a satisfactory inspection of the property by the buyer. So it's in there twice now. So let me translate that real quick. I just want to make sure that everything is capitalized in terms of like the buyer, the seller, stuff like that. Right. Buyer's disclosures. Buyers, employees, or agents may hold a real estate salesperson or broker license in the state of Texas. Buyer and or his employees are not representing any party, and buyer and seller agrees that each is acting in their own best interest. It's not the case for me, but just in case any realtor does get involved, um, just want to make it clear that nobody is representing anybody if they do hold a license. Oops. This was the case in the beginning when I had my partner. He was licensed in the state of California, so it was important to mention that. Again, just for the sake of disclosing. Uh, all right. Seller acknowledgement. I sell it for 255,000. I forgot. It's been so long that I send these texts out. I forgot that it's on a drip. So I got a number of texts yesterday, although I just sent them out for the first time on Monday. They get texted and dropped a ringless voicemail on day one and day two, and then they get texted on day three. So it's day three right now from those people that I just sent out. I haven't gotten anything favorable, but I'll take a look at that one. That guy just texted me saying that he'd sell it for 255. That doesn't seem too unreasonable, just in terms of other people that give out unreasonable numbers. It's usually 500,000 plus, and I'm not marketing to those areas. It's a driving for dollars list in areas that aren't in, well, the areas that I have been driving are a lot of new construction has been going up. So that may even work for the value of the land itself. So I'll definitely take a look at that in a second. Seller acknowledgements. Seller hereby acknowledges that all negotiations and deadlines with buyer have been and are at arm's length, and that no duress or undue influence has been exerted by buyer over seller or seller's family in connection with this agreement. Seller is aware that the buyer is purchasing the property for immediate and or concurrent resale and profit. Seller gives buyer the right to communicate, assist active tenants during closing process. The seller's acknowledgement executed by seller together with this agreement is incorporated here by reference. This is saying, hey, look, we're not forcing you to sign this. This is on you. If you're only signing it because you want to, we're not strong arming you or your family and holding a gun to your head for you to sign this. And it mentions again that, well, this is the first time that it's been mentioned that we plan on selling this for a profit. This is a business that we're running, and so that and acknowledge it here, our intention with this property is to, buy it and sell it, or again, or concurrent resale. Sell it all while we're buying it, like an assignment. So it just acknowledges that hey, we're looking to make money with this. We're not just buying this out of the goodness of our heart. We're looking to turn a profit here. And that's also it mentions that the seller gives us the right to get in the mix with the tenant and make them a part of the conversation and help them in any way that we can as well during the closing process. So again, all this is just really disclosures for the most part, legal protection. Which is something that I think is very important. All right. Next, attorney fees. This is, hopefully this never becomes an issue, but pretty much just says if legal action is needed to enforce any part of this agreement, the winning party is entitled to reasonable attorney fees and costs, including any incurred on appeals or in the negotiation or alternative dispute resolution of the dispute. Saying that if you want to fight this and you lose, just know that you're going to have to pay the winner all these fees and costs that the winner had to incur in order to win that battle. Last thing, this is the entire agreement. This agreement is complete between the parties. No other representations have been made or relied on in making this agreement. If any part or provisions in this agreement is held to be invalid or unenforceable, the remaining valid provisions will stay in force and effect. So it's saying, no verbal agreements that we made on the phone that aren't listed in this agreement should be, you know, an issue. It shouldn't be, oh well, what you said on the phone, this, and I was under the impression that this because you were saying that. No, if it's not in the agreement, it's not a part of the agreement. And if something in the agreement becomes void or invalid, unenforceable, it's not to negate the remainder of the agreement if everything else matches. So like, trying to think of something. Maybe if it were to have listed, one title company, and although it doesn't, but just saying, like, let's say we listed one title company and then, uh, we end up going with a different title company, and the sellers, oh, well, you said that you were going to go with that title company on the agreement, and you're actually going with this one. So the whole thing is void. It's like, no, no, no. Right here it says if one part of it is unenforceable, everything that remains valid aside from that will stay in force and effect. So it's just, so that if one piece becomes unenforceable, it doesn't allow the whole cookie to crumble. Prevents the whole cookie from crumbling, rather. And then it's just kind of date, time, and signing at the bottom. This agreement must be accepted. There's a little expiration here. This agreement must be accepted and signed by seller by 5 p.m. on blank, whenever you want to make that. 24 hours, 48 hours. Just gives you a little line to list the actual date, so that again, there's no dispute as to like, oh, well, I thought it was going to be 24 hours starting today or 24 hours starting to. There's a little bit of that confusion as to when the clock actually starts. So it says 5 p.m. on this date. You have to accept it. If not accepted by this date and time, the agreement is invalid and void. By signing below, you understand and agree to the terms and conditions of this agreement to purchase real estate. And then it just has a couple lines on the left side for it to be dated. Buyers, there's two signature lines for buyers in case there's a couple parties that are taking, you know, title to the property together. and then a line for it to be your name to be printed. Same thing on the right side for date, seller, print name. So that's that. Let me get these last few things translated and put up here. I try to format this so that it's 2 pages. Since I am working on the property so I can move there, it would take 500,000 for me to sell it now. Page. Buyer. Trying to make it look pretty now. Neat. Print name. Oof. Just too long. Oof. That's annoying. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take out that second where it says, second one, this agreement is subject to a satisfactory inspection because it's already listed once. Ugh. This may be completely reformatted, to be honest, if I'm going to be when I upload it into my hello sign, my e-signature, I think I'm going to have to upload um, a Word document anyways, because it's on a Google Drive, Google Doc. So I'm not going to worry about formatting it right now. Much room anyways for this. Tell me if that doesn't make sense, Jared. To just say print and not his name or whatever. If that makes sense. Boom. That's that. Take a look. Let me know what you think. Derek, it's good, my guy. How many hours a day do you call? Try to get as much as I can, to be quite honest. Not enough. To answer your question, not enough. Um, Try to get at least an hour in, if not a couple. Let's see. How am I missing these? Oh, okay. All right. Some of these questions or answers here. All right. So Robert here, this is somebody who I've been kind of going back and forth with. He has tenants in the property that he's looking to get out before he entertains that conversation, because he may want to go in there and do a little bit of carpet paint himself before selling it as is. Somebody like that, they're not crazy motivated. It may not be the best fit anyways. He let me know up front as well. um, just kind of going back into our text conversation, he says, to be straight up, Derek, we are investors and we will be selling to the highest bidder. Once we get a fix on starting price, we're at least a month to 2 months from that point. This is December 1st. I said, yep, I understand. And then we kind of just went back and forth. We haven't been able to get the tenants out, still in the process. uh, we've had ballpark offers from 200 to 230, but I understand the higher numbers are for in uh, top condition, and it is in need of freshening up. Round back with me early January. I said, all right. Rounded back with them early January. We're in the process of getting the renters to vacate the property, and all communication from them is down. So it sounds like the tenants were dodging them. Rounded back with them like a week after that, seeing what's going on. He says, look forward to getting in the property soon to assess condition. With all we've heard from others, should not be too long. So check back in 2 to 3 weeks. That was exactly 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to shoot him a quick text. Robert, were you able to get a hold of your tenants and gain access to the property? I really don't think that this is going to turn into anything, but I just want to, see it through. Because again, he was honest with me, like, hey, if you're not the highest bidder, which I, in all likelihood, would not be, especially if he's in communication with, uh, like fix and flippers themselves, somebody who isn't going to have to carve out an assignment fee for themselves, then in all likelihood, I probably won't be the highest bidder. But again, just want to kind of see that conversation through. Set a follow up in a couple days. If I don't hear back, I'll follow back up with them on Monday. Oh, and I thought I was late to this one. This is exactly the day that I thought I was going to follow up or planned on following up. This is one where I left a note for myself as well, like possibly just reverse wholesale it and just bring it to a buyer. I have some buyers that may be interested in it. I'm not, with this gentleman, I wouldn't want to like play games with him. Not like I'm playing games with anybody, but um, again, just to know, his intention with it, and he's shopping it around. There's not a high level of motivation here, so not really a problem that I can solve, other than just bringing him a buyer that may be the highest bidder. Which again, I probably wouldn't even be able to do that, because the buyers that I'm looking to assign my deals to anyways, and who I'm in communication with, are looking to get deals themselves. So, but I also know nothing about this property. It's been very surface level, because he himself doesn't know the condition of it, because he hasn't been able to gain access to it. Um, Another gentleman here, John. This is another one where I do not think it's going to turn into anything, because he's not motivated and has very unrealistic expectations. He says he renewed the lease on the property that I texted him about, but he said that he's looking to offload another one of his rentals at the end of January. This was early December. And this is how the conversation started to go. So this is what makes me think it's not really going to turn into anything. Again, it's not a very high level of motivation. He says there's a similar house in that neighborhood that recently listed for 250. If someone took mine as is, I'd consider much less than that. And then he started to brag about the subdivision and talk up the property. I said, all right, can I give you a quick call, learn about the condition? Didn't answer. 10 days later, followed up with him. I was planning to do a little fix up, carpet and paint before I listed. I think this is the gentleman that I said. He said, "What is your offer as is?" And I said, "For cash offer, I'd likely be in the range of 115 to 130. I'm seeing properties that sold similar to yours in top condition at 185 to 200. Is that more or less what you were thinking?" No reply. Month later, followed up with him. I actually set him on just a follow up drip campaign where I'm not actually manually following up with him. It's just kind of like, hey, just wanted to revisit that offer that I made you. And then he just texted me the other day saying, I just saw a new listing in spring for a house 30 square feet smaller than mine. Listing price 266. So again, the way he's talking, he may be motivated. Again, I'm going to see the conversation through, but he just seems like he has unrealistic expectations. He keeps referencing these properties that are being listed and not necessarily sold. And again, his is as is, and I don't know anything about the condition of the property. So, um, and I don't know where his comps are in relation. I don't know how accurate he's running these comps. Like he's not even really running comps. He's just looking at the market to see what's being put up on the market. Um, Say, hey John, sorry for the delay in my response. To clarify, sorry for my response. I'm just gonna say, hey John, knowing what properties are being listed for in the area, did you have a number that you'd be hoping to walk away with for a quick as is cash sale? See how he responds to that. Follow up with. I'm going to take him off of this campaign. For some reason, I need to edit that so that when he replies, he gets removed from that campaign. It's like that for almost all my campaigns, except for this one, I guess. This is the campaign where I make an offer, they don't accept it, and then I put them into this campaign, and then every so often it follows up and says, hey, just wanted to follow up on that offer that I made. Just as a reminder, these are the benefits that we offer. This is how it would look. Let me know if you have any questions. 2, 3 weeks later, hey, just wanted to follow up. It's not saying exactly that. I'm giving you the cliff notes, but offers campaign, remove on reply. Follow up with him in like a week if he doesn't respond. And I didn't want to like insult him and say, you're tripping about these listed properties. You're not going to get anywhere, so I wanted to reference and acknowledge what he's saying. He keeps bringing up these listings. So I want to say, hey, knowing what properties are being listed for, because he already mentioned right in the beginning of the conversation that, hey, I'm seeing these properties being listed, but I would consider much less for an as is sale. He said that. So I'm essentially reiterating what his comment was in the form of a question. Hey, knowing what they're being listed at, what would you consider for an as is sale? So I'll see if I think I already asked him that at one point, but he didn't reply. And he doesn't want to get on the phone. I asked when the best time to call him, and he didn't reply for like a week. And then I gave him kind of an out to keep the conversation in text. I asked him another question and he didn't reply. And then like the next day I said, uh, if you'd like to just continue texting, that's completely fine with me as well. I just want to be sure that I have all the info needed in order to make you the best offer possible. And then he replied right away. So he clearly doesn't want to get on the phone and would just prefer to text, which is fine with me. But if he's going to want to actually do it, he's got to participate in this conversation. Um, this person says, I don't own this land. Say wrong number. I'm going to hit him with a text real quick, though, and say, this template. My apologies. We buy houses all over city. By chance, would you or anybody you know happen to have property they'd be interested in selling? Maria said the property has been sold. I'll hit her with a template. Sane. Oh, okay. Would you happen to have any other property you'd be interested in selling at the moment? Tag her already sold. John says, please do not contact me again. I'm not interested. Oh, something that I like to do. What I'm doing is remove these people from my dialer as well so that I don't end up calling them. Um, it just saves me time in the long run. It only takes me a quick second to remove them from my dialer. So I might as well. Like this gentleman's clearly not interested, and it's clearly the person that I'm looking for. I only remove them if it's quite clear that it's not like somebody random. I only remove them if it's clear that it is the owner that I'm trying to get a hold of. So please do not contact me again. I need to put in a trigger for the phrase "do not contact" spelled out. I guess I don't have that yet. So that it just automatically tags those people with DNC. Sabrina says, I don't own any property. Take my number off. Number. Rhonda says, no, thank you. See, like, this is kind of an interesting one. That one can go both ways, right? Is that the right owner or is it not? Um, I'm going to go ahead and just keep her in my dialer just in case. Because I'm not dialing the same numbers that I'm texting. Um, Well, not up front. So I separate the mobile numbers and then the landlines, and I'm dialing the landlines while I'm texting the mobiles. But then if the mobile numbers, if the entire duration of the campaign, which is 20 days, if they go through the entire campaign and they never reply to any of my texts, then I take those mobile numbers and put them into my dialer, and then I'll call them. So up front, I'm confident that I'm not going to be calling the same people, or at least the same numbers that I'm texting. I may be calling their landline and texting their cell phone, but uh, so for like this, where it's like something where I'm not quite sure if this is the right owner, I'm not going to remove the entire property from my dialer because one, I don't know if this is the right owner, and two, I at least know that I'm not going to be calling the same number that I'm dialing. So that's that. All right, this is the gentleman that says he'll sell it for 255. Let me just pull him up on Zillow real quick, see what the Zestimate is for quick reference. Zestimate's 199. Again, I want to double check this area though to see if it's the area that I'm thinking of because uh, there's a lot of new construction going on in area that I just drove for dollars in, where the value of the land itself actually exceeds what I'd be able to pay in terms of a cash as is sale. So I just want to kind of zoom out of the area real quick to see. So yeah, so like there's a something on sale right now for 400,000. It would still be way too much, but another one for a million, 1.29 million. So like again, if that's the case, then I may be able to make an offer around 200,000 for the value of the land. This guy may also just have. This is the area that I'm thinking of, so he may just be throwing that number out too. I don't want to not entertain the conversation. So let me. And he could just be being smart too. That's what Um, I said this the other day, but like, sometimes people think that they're being smart, but then they like throw out a somewhat reasonable number, not knowing what I kind of know. Like I mentioned, the 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 fact that the value is in the land. Um, so like he could just be trying to be smart and has no intention on selling the property at all, and thought he was being funny by thinking that he was throwing out some crazy high number, but really it's somewhat reasonable. I don't know if that's the case in this situation here, but I want to ask him something beyond that, just to kind of gauge his level of motivation. I sell over 255,000. Say okay. Uh, if we were able to somewhere in that ballpark, how quickly would you want to if he's like, I need to sell it now, then I know that he may have some wiggle room. If he never responds, then I know uh, that he was just BSing me. I'm gonna pull this up on Batch Leads real quick, see if I want to. This isn't something that I would typically do, but I do want to start. I want to start messing around in Batch Leads because I just signed up for it. I want to start familiarizing myself with the comping tool. Select the right, so it is. So he listed it a couple years ago. It expired. Listed it for 225. So bought it in 2011. He's owned it for about 11 years. Estimated value on Batch Leads is 230. Bought it for 32,000 bucks 12 years ago. Um, Owned it for a little over 10 years. It is absentee owned, so there's that going for it. Let me just try to run some comps real quick. This is what I want to try to familiarize myself with. Property class, property type. I want to look at the sold only. Sold in last 12 months. I really don't have anything in the area. Well, built within 10 years. Ignore bedrooms, ignore bathrooms, square foot, plus minus 20%. That's something that I really don't know. There's a lot of default filters here, and I just want to try to come to a general understanding as to what is appropriate for the price points that I'm working and the square footage that I'm typically dealing with. So this right here is 1,700 square feet, 1,683 to be exact. So, um, plus 20% would be over 2,000. So I truly don't want to even go that high. So maybe for something under 2,000 square feet, I'd keep it to plus minus. Uh, what do they have as options? 15%, 17%. What's 17% of 16? I want to just so that I can get it. I want to keep it around 1950 and under. So plus 17% will be around 1969. That's cool. So I'll go plus minus 17%. Square footage located within 1 mile. I want to keep it to at least under half mile. Ignore lot square footage. I do not want to ignore lot square footage. His lot is just shy of 7,000 square feet. And again, I want to keep it under, for sure, under 10,000, but probably even a little less than that. Um, maybe like 30%. It gives me one property. One property. That's sold on the other end of this major road, less than about 4/10 of a mile away. Extra bath, about 100, no, about 200 extra square feet. Smaller lot, same year built. That one sold for 265 back in May. So I would be nowhere close to his asking price if, and this is the comp that I'm using, 65. I would probably need to be somewhere around, like, not knowing anything about the condition, 150, 160, about 100,000 less than what he's asking. But then again, this is something where I think that the value of the land is actually greater. So he says 4 weeks that he'd want to get it done. I'm going to pull this up on Redfin to run other comps. Well, let me, for the sake of, again, trying to familiarize myself with the comping abilities of batch leads. Oh, that's cool. And you can save the filter defaults. So I actually want to look for residential property. I want to see single families and townhomes because those are actually what's being built on the land. I'll look at duplex, triplexes, quads as well. And I want to, do they have the land? I just want to see if there's any land that went as well. That is sold within the last 12 months. Ignore year built, I guess you can say. Ignore square footage. Located within a half mile. Lot square footage. That's really all that I'm concerned with. Yeah, nothing too crazy. But again, I don't really know if I'm doing this accurately in terms of comping the land itself or figuring out the value of the land. So let me pull it up on Redfin. I'm much more confident in my abilities to determine that on Redfin. If you have the wrong number, they're going to hopefully they're gone. Hopefully we'll have it ready for walkthrough in about a week or so. Check back. That's the gentleman who gained access to his properties because of the tenant. All right. So here is what I'm looking at. It is just west of Yale. right here. Remove the outline. Show me properties that sold within the last year. Houses, townhomes, or land, or multifamily that have a lot size of, what was it again? Just shy of 7,000. So show me lots, 4,500 up to 9,500 that were built a minimum of 2 years, 2020 minimum. That should hopefully show me some new construction activity on lots that are similar size. So I got one on the other side of another main road. Let me see. Yeah, so I got four homes. It's not looking good in terms of new construction. Yo, Derek, what's good? What's going on, Ider? Thanks for joining. So I got 270, 380, 350. Yeah, 380 is the closest in terms of distance. I would probably be somewhere around nowhere close to his asking price. So it doesn't work in terms of new construction. You make sure that I did it right. Lot size sold within the last 2 years that were built within the last 3. See if I get anything else. So here's another one that went for $1 million. It's just not really in the same area. But if you wanted to take a look at that again, I would still have to be probably under his asking price for me to feel comfortable putting it under contract. A million five. Let's just call it $1 million. I would comfortably want to be somewhere around 150 to 200. He's asking. What was he asking? 255. Let me just run some quick comps that weren't new construction. Square feet, 1683. I'll go minimum 1400, maximum 1900. Lot size is still there. His was built in 48. I'll go minimum 20. I hate when it does that. When it gets too old back on Redfin, they start jumping by 20 years as opposed to 10. I'd like to keep it around 1935, 40. But for the sake of just casting a wider net right now, 1948 to 1960. Or 1960. So I got something that sold for 290 on the same streets, which is actually one of the higher sold comps. Man, my thing's going so slow right now. Quit out of this. Quit out of this. $290. Right on the other side of the main road, I got some $299. I got some $380. That's kind of out of the way though. $395. That's also kind of out of the way. Let me look at this $290. $290 with an extra bed and an extra bath. Pretty much same size. 2 years newer with a slightly smaller lot. Nothing to write home about. So it's pretty good comp. Just got to take consideration the bed bath discrepancy there. It was listed for $290. I don't know what it sold for. Assuming that it sold for what it was listed at, Call ARV on our property 270, maybe even a little less. Let me ask what this guy's like, what the conditions like. Any major or minor repairs needed? It's not a deal, right? That's why I'm honestly not getting them on the phone and just asking them this stuff. I shouldn't honestly even be wasting my time comping it, but uh, there's also market appreciation in the area. It's the Redfin estimate is almost 40,000 over what it was listed at. But again, let's say our ARV is like 270. I would need to be around, yeah, like 160. Unless it's like cosmetic, I may be able to go upwards of like 180, but definitely not 255. So I'll keep you guys updated on the conversation, but I'm going to go ahead and move on from this one. I'm going to tag him as high asking price. Put a note, ARV, let's say rough ARV estimates what did I say, 270K MAO, assuming average rehab 170. Is that what I said? And that's me taking like a pretty small assignment to, yeah, 170. Set myself a task to see, like for somebody like this, I don't know if I have a campaign like this, but I need to set up like a high asking price campaign where I can just put this guy on a drip campaign so that I'm not having to manually follow up with him, but rather just revisit the conversation automatically. Um, in case he is considering, but just gave me a random number that's super high. Uh, maybe I just make him an offer. Do you think a cash buyer is willing to buy a house after the owner did all the repairs, as long as the numbers make sense? Not, obviously somebody who's trying to, their business model is fix and flipping. That's not going to be attractive to them because there's nothing to fix and there's no, margins to create there. But if you're just looking for like somebody like a buy and hold investor that wants just a turnkey property, then yeah, as long as they're entering into the deal with some type of equity, uh, it'll be attractive to them. But not if the price is retail, because if that was part of their business model, they would just be buying properties off the MLS on market. Um, so it just has to be should be at some type of a discount so that the buyer enters into the takes title to the property with some type of equity, some type of ownership, as opposed to just buying it for what it's worth, buying it for retail value. Uh, Revisit conversation, add to auto campaign. Follow up with him in a week if he doesn't reply. Again, not one that I'm going to spend a lot of time on, although I just spent a lot of time on it. Rhonda said, no, thank you. She should be out for this. Cynthia says, since I'm working on the property so I can move there, it would take 500K for me to sell it now. I imagine that that's extremely high. This is just a few blocks away from the property that I was just comping. His estimates doesn't have anything. It looks like The way that it's listed on Zillow, it would appear to be. Uh, oh, it's not even the right property. It'll do that sometimes. That one's a manufacturer. Let me pull it up on Google. See if I can pull it up on HAR or something. 186 is the estimate on it. 1,000 square foot home. I'm gonna text back though and say, okay, that makes sense. Do you happen to have any other property that you'd be interested in selling? Possibly the property that you live in now. Go ahead and tag her as not interested, high asking price. Remove her from the campaign. Mark the conversation as read. Marcus says yes. When I asked, did you have an idea of what you were wanting to walk away with? That's my third text on day 3. So I'm going to text him back and saying, magic number. Okay, what's the magic number? I'd be interested to see if we would be somewhere in the same ballpark. Again, highly doubt that he's going to tell me something reasonable, but you never know. Robert said they're gone. Hopefully, we'll have it ready for walkthrough in about a week or so. Check back. This is what I'm not going to follow up with this guy. This is just wasting my time. Okay, so I'm just going to ask him again if he has a number. Okay, sounds good. So I know. Did you all have a? Did you end up coming? Did you come up with a number that you'd be hoping to walk away with for an as is sale? I think I got something good. I personally know the owner. He told me if I get someone to buy it, he's gonna give me a fee. He spends like gonna spend like 25 to 30,000 in repairs. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Communicate the benefit of selling it as is if that's something that he's interested in. You know, to me it just doesn't make much sense for them to do the repairs and then have you find somebody because again, it's not. You got to be careful because then you're brokering the deal at that point, and you'd essentially be representing the buyer or the seller to find a buyer. And if you're not licensed, it can get sticky. So just be careful. Um, just be careful with that. That's my two cents. What you should be doing is collecting the fee from the buyer, and even then, you're essentially still brokering it. All right, that's that. Just wanted to go through all those in terms of the text. Uh, sure I didn't miss anything. You have the wrong number. 4 weeks. You're gonna hopefully. We'll have it. Looks good. We'll hop back over the dialer. Hop on the dialer. So basically, the ARV is going to be around 190. All right. In that case, I would. If it was a direct to seller, off market opportunity that I came across where the ARV was 190. Depending on, I guess I need to know a little bit more. How big is the place in terms of square footage and how much repairs are needed? But assuming that it's like under 1,500 square feet, needs an average rehab, would be offering like 110, 115 max. Around 800 to 1,000 square feet. Yeah, I'd be if that was an opportunity that I came across, I would be looking to buy offer like 115 max, and then look to assign it for like 125 for a 10,000 spread. Less if you want to make more. And that's it. Again, if it's like an average rehab, meaning that nothing serious, like it doesn't need a new roof, it doesn't need any foundation repair, it doesn't need to have a completely new AC unit condenser dropped in, it doesn't. It's just like carpet paint, new kitchen, new bathroom. I'd be looking to offer around 115 max. It's a full rehab, so I would be looking to offer probably around 95 max. 90, yeah, 90, 95 for around a 10 to 15,000 assignment fee. That's why, again, I mean, I don't know what the person's situation is, but if somebody's willing to put in 20 to $30,000 in repair, 25 to 30 in repairs, well, one, if it's a full rehab, it's going to take more than that to bring it all the way up to speed. But probably going to be more like, it is a smaller place, probably more like 30 to 40 for a full rehab to get it, brand new. If I had to guess, I'm not obviously a contractor, but that's how I would run the numbers. And so if somebody's willing, if it's worth 90 right now, to me, it's worth 90. That's how much I would offer. If they're going to put in 20 to 30,000, they would likely expect more than an offer of 110 to 120, because they're not just looking to get their money back on the money that they invest. They're looking to invest it so that they can make more on top of that. So if they're going to put in 30,000, they'll probably expect 140 out of it, which at that point doesn't really make much sense because um, it's I mean, I guess it would. I guess it would, but they would likely expect much more money. That's why I tend to go back to your initial question. I tend to stay away from people who have just rehabbed the property. Instead, I look to make a realtor referral and let them know and communicate, hey, you're gonna get a return on this investment that you're looking to make here. But the only way you're gonna really be able to do that is if you list it on market. Um, It's not going to be the only way, but it's going to be the easiest way just for you to connect them with a realtor and say, hey, you should list it on market. You're going to be able to attract retail buyers this way, and they're going to be paying the most. Uh, there's other ways where you can connect. I don't even want to recommend you connect them with anybody other than a realtor because of the whole brokering issue here. Um, you just don't want to represent them and start to solicit offers from other people without uh, one, a license, or two, placing it under contract yourself and taking a principal position in the agreement and then assigning your interests. And even then, nowadays, that's a gray area where people are looking to get rid of that assignment there. So again, that's my 2 cents. Just proceed with caution in that there's a it's I know that you know the person personally, and it would likely be an under the table type of transaction where they'd be kicking you that referral fee or that fee. But just be careful. Be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom. All right. Hop on the dialer. I'm gonna call through my driving for dollars list. This is my favorite campaign. Get myself organized. Pull out my script. That good stuff. State. Yeah, the thing is that if I find someone, for example, 200 and the owner wants 190, I could put that under contract and do it like wholesaling, like not like I'm trying to do it as a realtor. Yeah. Um, I just don't know enough. I don't know enough. Nobody's gonna pay 200 for it if it's only worth 190 fully fixed up. And I don't know if it's a full rehab again. If he's only planning or she's only planning on spending 30,000, I don't think that that's gonna get it to ARV value, after repair value. So I don't know enough about it, but I see what you're saying for sure. It's an opportunity. You just got to make sure the numbers work and make sure that the seller is comfortable. In order to do it the way that you're proposing it, you would have to place it under contract and then assign your interests as you would a typical wholesale deal. But just what I'm gathering from what you're talking about, it doesn't seem like paperwork would be involved, it sounds like the seller is more so just willing to kick you a little bit of money if you find a buyer. And then if that's the case, you would be brokering the deal. There's no way around it, of of the technicality of you brokering the deal. You would have to take a principal position in the agreement and put it under contract. And again, I don't know enough of the situation or your relationship with the seller. If that's what you guys are talking about, then yeah, by all means, get it for under what it's worth and assign it. But the fact that you have a personal relationship with the seller doesn't negate the fact that it would be brokering the deal if you didn't do it that way. To each his own, though. I'm not telling you what to do. This is just how I'm operating. I just want to make sure that I'm not, sitting here giving you bunk advice, and then at the end of the day, when somebody gets in legal trouble, they say, "Well, Derek on this YouTube channel," I just don't want that to be the case. I want to make sure that the only thing that I'm communicating is how I would do it. And I'm not, again, I try to mention this as often as possible on this channel. This channel was never intended to be educational. It was never intended for me to sit here and tell you the proper or correct way to do things, but rather just kind of give you an over the shoulder of how I do things and how I intend to do things. So just know that in consuming my content, it's not this is how you're supposed to do it. More so, it is a watch me do what I do. He told me he wants to help me. Again, I get the dynamic. I get it. If he wants to help you, then what you can do is reverse wholesale it. You can go find a buyer and say, the seller would be looking for this, and then once you bring the buyer, then put it under contract. But I still think that the paperwork should be in place, and it should be there, as you as the principal. Hello.
Hello,
Hey, Mr. Torres.
speaking.
Hey, how's it going? This is Dave. Sorry, no, this is a bit random here, but was calling about a property inside lane.
Oh, yes, but I don't have that property for sale. I'm sorry.
Oh, no
If you're
worries.
asking about,
Yeah, yeah. While I have you, would you happen to have any others you might consider selling at the moment?
not at the moment.
Okay, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I understand, but not for sale. Many people has been calling me,
gotcha.
but I'm okay with that. But not no for sale. Not
Completely
for sale.
understand. Completely understand. Well, I appreciate you taking the call, anyways.
Okay, no problem.
Bye
Bye.
now. We'll do it with a contract. Yeah, yeah. Then if the paperwork's there, then yeah, by all means. But in this case, the way that the numbers are being presented to me, I would just make sure that it's the benefit that you do have in this relationship that you have with the seller is that the communication is going to be open, and you will be transparent with each other, and you'll know exactly what he or she is expecting, so that when you go to search for a buyer, um, you'll know, right, what kind of spread. And now that I'm thinking about it, the way that you're treating it, it's no different than a wholesale deal. Like you're talking about, if he's expecting 190 and you find a buyer for 200 and you place it under contract for 190 and you assign it to the buyer for 200, that's wholesale. That's an assignment of contract. So it doesn't actually make any difference whether or not you have a relationship with the seller, if you're going to do it the same way. I guess that was my mistake, that I assumed that you were going to operate differently than what you typically would because that you had that relationship with the seller. But if you're going to do it all the same, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah, by all means. The fact that you have a relationship with the seller doesn't really matter, in my opinion. But if it's like, because when you said he's going to give you a fee, a finder's fee for the buyer, to me, I'm under the impression that everybody's going to be in the know. And again, the fee wouldn't be even coming from the seller. You would be creating your own fee by negotiating with the buyer at a price above and beyond what the seller's expectations are. And again, if that's the case, then it's all the same as what I'm doing here. Doesn't matter if the seller's my cousin, my mom, or my dad. It's all the same. But the way that I understood it, the way that it was presented to me by you in terms of the seller giving you a fee, it makes me think that the seller is expecting you to tell him or her exactly what the buyer is paying. And if that's the case, then it leaves you no opportunity to carve out your own margin. Because if they want 190 and you say, I found a buyer for 190, and you're not lying to them and the buyer's really at 200, then they're going to say, okay, boom, connect us and then I'll kick you a little something. And if that's the case, then it's brokering and I would avoid it. But if you are in a position to create your own spread and you're doing the paperwork and assigning your interests after taking a principal position as the buyer, then it's the same thing that I'm doing here. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so then so the seller is going to have an expectation and they don't care what you find a buyer at. And then how, if you don't mind me asking, how much? Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, Mr. Garza.
This is he.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random here, but was calling you about a property I believe you own on Wafer Street.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call and wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there.
I'm glad for your call. I fixed this home up, and I'm about maybe 3 weeks away from selling it.
Oh, okay.
I did a recap on it, but like I said, I do appreciate you giving me a call on it.
Sure, sure. While I have you, I mean, just assuming that you've fixed it up fully to kind of 2022 standards, you have the intention on listing it on market.
No, I already actually have a contract, and I have a deposit and everything on it.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
Yep.
And just to clarify, you sold it on market to a kind of a retail buyer.
I sold it privately, so it's a retail buyer. Yes, it'll
Hmm.
be their home, but privately. So we did not go through a realtor.
Gotcha,
You know,
gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, congratulations. While I have you, would you happen to have any other property you might consider selling at the moment?
actually, no. Right now, everything's low. Like, that's a great question. Inventory here in Pasadena is so low
Oh
right now.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I can do, I am always, I buy, sell. I What I do is I actually, most people just kind of resell it, and it's okay. I actually have my guys come in and we tear pretty much everything down, leave it bare bones, put
Sure,
everything back together.
sure.
But I can save your number, and if something comes up where we're just like, hey, we just kind of want to pass on it or whatnot, or we hear anything, I'd be happy to give you a call.
Please do, and I appreciate that. And while I have you, we kind of do the same thing where sometimes we do fill our plates a little bit too much, and we come across opportunities a lot where we might not actually want to take them down ourselves. And then in that case, we would look to kind of our inner network to see if anybody's willing to take the project on. So. If you'd like, if we ever come across an opportunity where we're kind of just looking to hand it off, I'd love to save your number as well and kind of give you a shout to see if it's something that you might be interested in.
Definitely, and I say this wholeheartedly. Like this year, we earlier in the year we did two of those where, like you said, for whatever reason, somebody may just have been too busy, or it
Yeah,
was just not their level what they were comfortable with. And it's always a hey, we can talk business, and
sure.
so I'll be happy. Definitely.
Sure, sure. What would be the best form of communication for you? Would it be this phone number right here or email?
You can email me also because sometimes you miss numbers or whatnot. So email is
Sure.
also
Down here, and I'll be sure to keep you in contact if anything does come up.
definite. And anytime I have any, this one was it was gonna kind of be like where if you call, I would have been like, hey, come over. But we already it's pretty much out of our plate now. Maybe a
Yeah.
couple weeks it'll be gone.
Yeah, exactly. And I would have, wanted to make you an offer, just as kind of a backup, but it seems like, since you're selling it to a retail buyer, it doesn't make much sense. And, we're looking for something similar that needs a little bit of love. We can go in and build in the equity ourselves by doing the value add. So the fact that you did the renovations yourselves as well, wouldn't necessarily be attractive to us. So I appreciate you taking the call though, and I definitely look forward to doing business in the future.
Not a problem. Anytime. Thank you for calling.
All right. Have a good day.
Likewise. Bye bye.
Bye now. Quick little cash buyer. Add him to the list. Just a young cash buyer conversation. It's not that much. Some slight. Nice guy too. um, the assignment fee, it's from the buyer. There's no problem, right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. As long, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say is if you're putting yourself in an opportunity to create your own assignment fee by entering into the agreement with the seller as the principal buyer and then assigning your interest at an amount above and beyond what the purchase price is on the initial purchase and sale agreement, then yeah, essentially you would be getting paid by the buyer, and then the seller would be getting the agreed upon amount all the same. Um, all right, Raul says yes, but I sell as is. That's the gentleman who wanted 255, where I'd really only be able to offer like 160, 170. I don't know the condition of it, but that was he said yes to the place needing repairs. So the place needs repairs. He wants to sell it in a month. He just has an unrealistic expectation of price. It may just be a number that he threw out. So again, I want to entertain it, see what the real story is, and there is any level of motivation if he's willing to come down on price. He would have to come down quite significantly, though. I had somebody else say 275K. I don't know if that works. And then John, the gentleman who just gained access to the property because he got his tenants out, says, I could probably live with 210,000 with no realtor fees. Who would pay me and how would they pay? Yeah, that's an interesting question. He's probably wanting to avoid what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to see if 210 works, and if it does, then I'll entertain that conversation. Even if I'd have to come up in like a little under 200. But I don't remember his conversation. I think that that's still pretty realistic. If that's the gentleman who keeps referencing the listings, he keeps referencing listings at like 260, and the place does need a little bit of rehab, based on my understanding. If this is the gentleman that I'm thinking of, I was going to need to be around 150. Very interesting question. Who would be paying me and how would they pay? I would be paying you and I would pay with money, with US dollars. What's going on, everybody in here? Appreciate you joining. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Pay that entry fee, that free entry fee. It really does help out the channel. So I appreciate you guys if you would do it. And subscribe if you haven't already before you leave. Just had a quality conversation with a potential cash buyer. He had just rehabbed a property out in Pasadena, which was the area that I did my first deal. I'm very familiar with the area. He's talking about how inventory is low, which I agree. It is. It's not a huge area, but I pretty much drove for dollars in the whole area, and was able to squeeze out the one deal that I did. But he's a fix and flipper, is what it sounds like. He rehabbed his property completely and he sold it. He went off market, but he sold it retail to a family that, what it sounded like, is going to actually live in the property. So I was going to entertain possibly getting him a backup off. Hello? 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 Going to try to get him a backup offer, but once I found out that it was fully renovated and he sold it retail, there was really no point. But kind of went along into the conversation, figured that he does business in the area, and he said it. I should have. Damn, I just thought about this right now. I should have given him my direct line. All he has is this caller ID. He's not even going to be able to get in contact with me. I'm going to text him. I got his number. Hello? Hello? Hello, Carmen?
Hello?
Hi, Carmen. How's it going? This is Derek. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Leave your name and phone number at.
This guy has a SoCal area code too. Hello?
Can I help you?
Hi, Catherine.
No, this is Visiting Angels. Who are you trying to reach?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I dialed the wrong number here.
That's okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random here, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Vance Street.
No, you got me confused with somebody else.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Mhm. Add him to the list. Maybe sell Maria's to him. Yeah, yeah, I got him on the list for sure. That buyer, since he's Pasadena. Yeah.
Please leave your message. Record.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Ruby.
Hi.
Hi, Ruby. How's it going? This is Derek. Uh, Sorry, I know this is a bit random here, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Heaney Drive.
I'm not interested in selling if that's what you're calling for.
Ah, okay, okay, completely understand. While I have you, would you or anybody else you know happen to have any other property you might consider selling at the moment?
Uh, Not that I know of.
No, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the call.
No problem.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, is Mr. Reynolds?
Who?
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I have the right number here. Hopefully, you can help me out. I was looking for the owner of a property on West Grenfell Lane.
Oh, no, sir. They've been not having this number for maybe like 2 years.
No, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Alrighty, thank you.
I said West. I'm doing too many things at once. You guys seen that SpongeBob episode? I thought you said West. Where should I find this buyer that wants to buy a retail price? I think you're looking at it wrong there. I think you should try to get the price well under retail so that you can find the lower you get it, the wider your buyer pool is going to open up. Retail buyers are looking on the MLS. They're going through realtors to find these the nice properties. They're paying retail by getting a conventional loan and recruiting the help of a realtor. Um, that's going to be the best way. Or get in contact with like an iBuyer, like Open Door. Um, they would be probably attracted to something that needs very minimal repairs, something more turnkey. Um, or you know, you would have to just get kind of not get lucky, but I don't know. I don't know the best way to answer that because I'm not looking for buyers who are paying full retail. I'm looking for buyers that want it at a discount, and I'm trying to get the properties at a discount, just a little bit more of a discount. so I can create a little bit of a spread for myself. But the high wage earners, the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers who are willing to pay, just slightly under retail. They still feel like they're getting a deal themselves, and the money is not just sitting in their account, being affected by inflation and not making a return on their money. But I personally haven't gone through the process of trying to like build a list of those type of buyers. You may want to get in contact with um, somebody at Keegley. That's what they do, right? So like they're on the disposition end of things. So all day, every day, their employees are calling lists that's like I'm calling a list right now that will more than likely have people on here with some type of level of motivation where they're willing to sell at a discount. They're calling lists, of people that are more than likely have a lot of money sitting in their bank account that they're looking to spend and invest into real estate. So I would, in your situation, I would probably try to recruit the help of somebody who is a master at disposition, or a company like Keegley who has built their business model around finding those type of buyers. That would be my recommendation for you. I just don't, I don't have enough personal experience to tell you the best way to go find people who are willing to pay retail. It's kind of the question's kind of an oxymoron, or kind of a loaded question there. Everybody wants to find a buyer that's going to pay retail, but it's just not as simple as, oh, go do this. You're going to be able to find somebody who's going to pay retail. Somebody who's going to pay retail is somebody who's going to want to live in the property. It's Wumbo. you know. Oh shit! I can't believe I just said that. I said Grenfell. I always that street name pops up often. I always want to say Greenfell, but it's Grenfell. And that's what threw me off. I saw green, and then I saw the W, and then I said Weast. It's Wumbo. I need to drop your dollars over there also. 40 minutes from me. Pasadena, yeah, you could probably drive that area in like a day if you really put in that, crazy effort of 10, 12-hour day driver dollars in that area. You could probably knock out that whole area. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Miss Lindley.
Who are you?
Hi, my name is Derek. I know this is a bit random here, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Haight Street.
Yeah. If you don't see a sign down there, please don't disturb me.
Oh,
Because if I didn't ask you to call, don't you take it up on your own to call me.
okay,
I know
man.
what you guys are up to.
Oh, okay. I completely understand. Well, I appreciate you taking the call anyways.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. She's not interested. Gotta have a little fun with these, She knows what I'm up to. Whatever that means. Making money? Yeah, I am up to that. She needs to chill, bro. What the fuck? No, I mean, you gotta understand that. I get it. I've been in the realm of marketing for a while. I've never held a legitimate 9 to 5 in the marketing realm, but that's what I studied in school, in college, business marketing. And I've done, little personal ventures, entrepreneurial ventures myself, drop shipping, um, digital marketing for small businesses. And you gotta know that what I'm doing is interruption based marketing. Like she didn't ask me to call her. I just called her and interrupted her day. So you gotta know. To me personally, I don't get why these people answer their phone if they don't know the number, just to then get upset at the person who's calling. You knew it was a random number. You knew you didn't know who I was. But again, that's not for me to say like, why'd you answer the phone then? Like I'm interrupt. Hello?
Who's this?
Hey, Ruben.
Who's this?
Hey, this is Derek. Uh, wanted to give you a quick call. I was calling about a property I believe you own on Wellington Street.
Yeah, but he's not in sale.
Oh, okay. Completely
Uh,
understand. While I
yeah.
have you, would you?
Okay, bye.
All right. So just remember that. Um, you know, I know you were probably just joking, Eider. Like she needs to chill. What the hell? But she has every right to be upset. And just know that it has nothing to do with you. That had nothing to do with me. Well, it had something slightly had to do with me because I was the one who called her. But the mood that she's in and the way that she's reacting has nothing to do with me. That's all on her and whatever she has going on in her life. And you also got to know that the people that you're calling, um, they're likely, I'm calling distressed property owners right now. So if the property looks the way that it looked, which was in poor enough condition for me to feel the need to add it to my driving for dollars list, you got to think that they're likely in distress in some other areas of their life. Uh, you know, so just know that everybody's dealing with their own issues. She could have just not to even paint this picture, but for all I know, she could have just lost a dear family member, and then she just got the news an hour ago, and I just called her asking about buying her property. She's not going to deal with that, and she saw it as an outlet to take her emotions out on me, which is whatever. As long as I'm not taking it personally, moving on to the next, by all means. If I'm looking to help people in terms of liquidating their real estate asset, but at the very least, if all I can do is be kind of a whipping boy, a punching bag for somebody who's in a bad mood, I'm down to be a help in that way too. You know, if that's all that I can offer them is to be their punching bag, then so be it. Just don't take it personally. Have fun with it. For every couple hundred people that are like that, there's going to be one that is in a distress situation in terms of their life situation, and they're going to be grateful for my call. And that's the person that I'm wanting to work with anyways. So I'm down to wait until that person pops up. Mm. Usually, when I comment on the dialer going a little dry, I get an answer right then and there. So it's kind of dry right now. I said it's a little dry right now. Eh, worth a try. Worth a try. Still laughing at myself. The least. Hello?
Bueno,
Hey, is Mr. Butler?
¿quién habla?
Hey, this is Derek. I was calling about a property I believe you own on Spark Street.
No hay inglés, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. ¿Quieres vender tu casa? Oh. Y'all didn't know I spoke that Espanol, huh? I don't even think that was the right guy. He doesn't sound like a Harry Butler to me. Not to cast judgment, but I don't think that was the right gentleman. Y'all didn't know I spoke that Espanol. Feel me, Jared? You know, that was in my tool belt. I'm gonna pull up some of these texts that came in, see if that one gentleman gave me a reasonable price or not. $275. What's the over under? Over under 180,000 on this estimate with his asking price of 275. I'm gonna say under 180. His estimates, 231. Surprising, tiny place, 780 square feet, built in 1920, 2 bed, 1 bath. Hello? $160. It looks like it was purchased in 2017 for $160. I'm gonna do the same thing, just trying to pre-qualify him a little bit more, ask the timeline here to see if he's serious about the 275 or not. I'll kind of start to revolve the conversation on the price later down the road if it does seem like there's any level of motivation there.
Right.
Hello? Um, so the guy who asked 255, which is clearly higher than what I'd be at like 160, 170 max. I asked how quickly he wanted to sell it. He said 4 weeks. I said, are there any major amount of repairs needed to the property? He said, yeah, but he's selling it as is. And then I asked, okay, if we could buy it as is and get you paid in 4 weeks, is there any wiggle room on the price? Hello?
Hello, may I help you?
Hi, Mary.
Pardon me?
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I have the right number here. Hopefully, you can help me out. Was looking for the owner of a property on Burden Street.
That's me, but I'm not selling, but I am suing people.
Oh, okay. How do I get on
Okay.
that list?
Pardon me?
Nothing, nothing. I appreciate you taking the call.
Bye bye.
You guys catch that? She said she's not selling, but she is suing people. Trying to get on that list. Hello? Hello? So John here said 210. Let me see if I ran comps on this previously. Hello?
No,
Hey, Samuel?
you got the wrong number.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I need to be at like 150. So I'm glad, that I at least am having this conversation with, and that's if it's only going to need a light rehab. I imagine that it's going to need at least a light rehab since the tenant's in there. So it's going to at least have to be turned over, new carpet paint, which is what I'm assuming, what I'm considering a light rehab. But then it comes down to when last time he had updated the kitchen baths, and if roof and AC needs to be replaced, then it's just going to get more and more expensive. Where I would have to be lower and lower under 150. The way that I ran the comps, I would need to be at 150 max for a light rehab. Hello? Marcus, what's up? I'm making calls when I get back. Let's get a deal today. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get a few. I mean, again, this guy is just unrealistic. He's looking at the listings. He's saying, I see this one listed at 260, this one listed at 270, but I'd imagine that they're brand new. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, David.
Yeah.
David, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random here, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on East 37th.
Yeah, in my house.
Oh, okay, okay. I just wanted to give you a quick call, and I wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there.
Not right now.
No, okay. You think in the near future at all?
I don't think so.
No.
Right now, I don't want to sell it.
Okay, okay. All right, completely understand. Well, while I have you, would you happen to have any others you might consider selling at the moment?
No, not right now.
No, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the call.
Okay.
All right, bye now.
Oh, okay. Bye.
It's only been a little over a month since I last ran these comps too, so I don't imagine that it would. The market in this particular area has seen so much appreciation where I would be able to come up another 60,000 in my offer price, which is like essentially 50% higher. I just don't foresee that being the case. Granted, he's saying 210. He may take like 180, but I'd imagine that it's going to be a little bit more than the light rehab where the point where I would have to probably be at like 130, 135, depending on how big the place is. Let's look. Yeah. I'll rerun the comps. The estimate's at 236. And I have ARV at 225, so shoot, maybe it's appreciated some. Typically in the markets that I work, I find that the ARV is like, sometimes up to 20, 30,000 above and beyond this estimate. So maybe. Oh my God, that's fucking weird. Rerun those comps tonight. I'll answer him now though. He's asking, who would pay me and how would they pay? I want to answer it kind of smart, like as if I don't really understand his question. I'm going to say, well, we would want to get the title company involved, so all of the money would be going through them as the intermediary, and we would be able to pay cash, I'm going to say, well, we would really through title company so that they can disperse money as a third party intermediary, and we could pay cash as well. Hard money. Just depends. We would be paying cash. Hard money, just depends. I'll rerun my numbers to see if we can be somewhere close to that 210. And get back to you ASAP. We can get my property. It seems like something we be interested in. And I'll run the numbers, and I just want to get him an offer at least. But again, this is a gentleman who's like, high expectations and just the type of stuff he's saying. It's just not going to make for like a good, smooth transaction. If he's going to be doubting every step of the process, he's already asking like who's going to pay me and how are they going to pay. It shouldn't matter to somebody who's motivated. For somebody who just wants money for their property, if I'm sitting here telling you that I'm wanting to buy it from you and I can pay cash, like it's a motivated seller isn't going to say, okay, where are you getting the money from? Even somebody who's like, if you guys watched the video recently on the deal that just fell through for me, they that gentleman was kind of, he had his guard up, but even him, as a, he owned 30 properties, he himself, even he asked at one point, and then I started to answer to kind of like rebuttal his objection of like having his guard up so much about where the money was coming from. And I was like, yeah, well, we would be, I've linked up with a team of investor. Hello.
Yes.
Hi, is this Miss Benavides?
Yes, this is her.
Hi, this is Derek. I wanted to give you a quick call. I was calling about a property I believe you own on Werner Street.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just wanted to call real quick and see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there.
Yeah, no, not at the time.
No, okay, I completely understand. Do you think you'd be interested in the near future at all?
Um, well, we never know what could happen, but not right now.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, while I have you, would you happen to have any others that you might consider selling at the moment?
No.
No, okay, all right. Well, I appreciate you taking the call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now. I was saying, even that gentleman was like, you know, he was questioning the funds, and he brought up proof of funds, and I was like, yeah, I can send you proof of funds. Um, and then he like asked one more question, essentially like who do you use as a lender? And then I started to answer him like, yeah, we linked up with a team of investors, and he caught himself, and he's like, You know what, never mind, that's none of my business." And it's true. Like, what does it matter to you that where the money's coming from? You know, if I'm telling you that I'm going to get you paid, why would you doubt that? Or, I mean, I get it, and it's kind of ironic that I, as a wholesaler, am like saying this stuff, but it shouldn't. It's none of their business. It doesn't matter where I'm raising the money. Oh well, my parents passed away, and I got a bunch of money in my account now. Like, what does it matter? I'm offering you a cash transaction. Do you want to get paid this much for the property or not? It shouldn't matter to you one way or another. I get the proof of funds thing, especially because he was a savvy investor. But anything beyond that, if I can prove to you that I have the funds available, that should be enough. Um, and I say all that again because this gentleman, it seems like it's going to be more work than it's worth to try to like convince him and jump through these hoops that he's putting up that are unnecessarily put up. That's just like that question right there shines light on the fact that he is not motivated. Who would be paying me and where would the money be coming from? I would be paying you, and it's none of your business where the money's coming from, is what I'd love to say to him. Well, I think this guy's sending me pictures. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Maria.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you might have dialed the wrong number here. Hopefully you can see if this guy's sending me pictures. I can't tell on my phone. Yeah, he's sending me pictures. It's pretty nice. Not bad at all. It's like a pretty solid rental. That's always cool. Sending me pictures without. He says there is. he said there is, to my question of there being wiggle room on the price if we were able to buy it in 4 weeks and buy it as is. And so I said, okay, if we were able to buy it as is and get you paid in 4 weeks, is there any wiggle room on the price? And then he sent me 4 pictures and saying there is. So he sent me a picture of the bathroom. It's not like brand new by any means, but it looks like it has a fresh coat of paint. Flooring could probably be replaced. Where did I'd have to be pretty low though. Even if it is just going to be carpet and paint, I'd be like 15 beyond that. I'd probably be like 190. What was he asking? 260 or something. Um, some people also just don't know how to negotiate like that. That could just be a starting point, whereas he may actually take something like 200 and he was just throwing out 260 as a starting point in case I jumped to the opportunity and was like, okay, yeah, we'll do 260. And then he's like, yes. You know what I mean? So 200 is his estimate. Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to go out and about and do some things. I'm leave the door open.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to finish up here and take him out. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this Miss Bolito?
Nope, you have a wrong number.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye now. All right, just ask that guy if he's willing to hop on the phone real quick so I can learn a little bit more about it in hopes of. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Hi, Juana.
Who's this?
Hi, this is Derek. I'm sorry, I know this is a bit random here, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on West Austin Avenue.
No, I think you got the wrong number.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
All right,
Thank you.
have a good one. Got another Juana. So again, I'm hoping that this guy's open to getting on the phone. That way I can just dig a little bit deeper. It's just very surface level on text. He's volunteering information willingly though. So that's what's making me think that there may be something else at play. And then if I can get him on the phone and try to dig out his motivation a little bit, it'll uncover the true, pain points here as to why he wants to sell. Or it could just be something completely opposite where he has these pictures on hand and he's down to just prove. Hello?
Hello? Yes?
Hi, Mr. Collins.
No, you have the wrong number.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
All right, bye.
Where he just has these pictures on hand and he's down to prove to me that it is in good shape to try to justify his unrealistic asking price or unreasonable asking price. I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that I get him on the phone and he has some type of problem that I can help him solve. Um, but I'm never gonna really know that until I get him on the phone. Again, everything through text is just pretty surface level. I could ask him like, "Why do you want to sell?" But he's just gonna say, "I'm not wanting to. Just want to get paid or something." So I forget who was asking that. Was it Eider or somebody was talking about that the other day? Um, and I said, don't hide behind the texting. It's easy to just think that you can get a deal done by simply going on your keyboard and texting and stuff. But um, the goal is still to get them on the phone. Hello?
Yes, hi. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, this is Derek. Is this Sylvia?
No, this isn't Sylvia.
Oh,
Wrong number.
I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
I know. If it wasn't you, Eider, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure it was. And I said that, and you said, "Dang, you know me." And I said, "I know you because I know me," and that's something that I did when I first started out. I figured, okay, I'll just if I can just text people, I don't actually have to talk to them, and I can avoid all of the nervousness and the fear that I have of getting on the phones. But you'll never be able to dig deep enough through text to be able to really see it through to the finish line. Hello?
Bueno,
Hi, is Mr. Mata?
¿quién habla?
Hi, this is Derek. I was calling about a property I believe you own on Garland Street.
Oh, no speak English.
¿Quieres vender tu casa en el Garland Street?
My home?
Sí,
¿Quién habla?
this is Derek.
Eric,
Derek, yeah.
¿de dónde?
Houston.
Oh, no sé. ¿Qué necesita?
Uh, I know what he asked. I just don't know how to respond. Y'all didn't know I had that Espanol, huh? I don't know too much though. He was asking what I needed in my home, and didn't sound like he was interested. I'm gonna go ahead and mark him Spanish speaker, or I'm gonna mark him not interested. Y'all didn't know I had that, huh? Woof. Said you want to sell your house on Garland Street? He said my home. I said see. He said who is this? I said this is Derek. He said from where? I said Houston. And then he said what do you need? And I didn't know how to respond to that. Give me a minute, buddy. Take you out. Y'all didn't know I had that Espanol, huh? Although I probably sound like a dummy to any native Spanish speaker. Although I had this conversation with a buddy of mine in college. He was bilingual. He was I think he was El Salvadorian. I think if I remember correctly, or Chilean. But
416915.
I asked him because we would go to out in San Jose especially. There's a lot of Spanish speakers and authentic Mexican food, authentic Mexican restaurants, and we would go to these quite often because he always knew the best spots, and he would always order for me. And that's what I mean by the authentic. It's even like the servers and the people waiting you. and serving you the food and taking your orders, they didn't even speak English. So he was always having to order for me. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, this is Miss Gentry.
Sorry?
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I have the right number here. I was hoping you can help me out. I was looking for the owner of a property on Ember Street.
Oh, no, sorry. You have the wrong number.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Um, and he was always having to order for me, and I would he would always try to encourage me because he knew I knew a little bit of Spanish. I could understand it. I just could never hold a conversation if my life depended on it. But he was always trying to encourage me to just order for myself, and I was like, no, man, like just do. And at one point, after him trying to get me to do it so many times, he like asked, he's like, why not though? Like I just don't get it. And I said, honestly, I feel like I would be insulting them if I tried to speak Spanish. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is Mr. Felipe?
This is him.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random here, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Eubank Street. In that case, I consider those people not interested. He acknowledged this is the person I was looking for. Once I referenced the property, he hung up, and only at that point in the conversation did he hang up. So I marked those contacts and I marked them not interested. But then I told him, right back to my story. Told him, hello. I feel rude when it's clear that I don't know how to speak the language, and then I try to, I try to speak it when I clearly don't know how. And he was like, no, man, don't think of it like that. He says, people aren't offended at all. Like, yeah, they may laugh at you a little bit because you don't know how to speak it perfectly. But he says, think about it in reverse. For native Spanish speakers who, are in the area and they hardly know any English, when they approach you and they try to piece together the words and the sentences to try to speak to you in English, how do you feel? And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Like I don't get offended." He says, "Yeah, honestly, it's appreciated that you're even attempting to speak to them in their native tongue. Don't you appreciate when a Spanish speaker tries to speak English to you because they know that you don't know Spanish?" It's like, "Yeah, you're so right." So when he said that to me, it blew my mind, and I was like, "Dang!" And it like really did open my eyes. Like these people aren't gonna get offended if I try to speak to them in their language. If anything, it's gonna be appreciated. So, hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Is this Miss Kane?
No, this is a hair salon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I dialed the wrong number here. My bad.
Okay, bye-bye.
My B. What happened? What do you mean what happened? Did I cut out or something? What happened when I tried to speak Spanish? What do you mean, Jared? But yeah, that opened my eyes that day. And it made me realize that, I need to get out of my own head when it comes to attempting to speak Spanish. Really useful, especially out here in California, in Texas too, these southern states, um, where you do get a lot of immigration, especially in select cities. Like I was telling you, San Jose is like, shoot, I wouldn't say it's predominantly, but there's definitely still the minority out here. But um, you, in certain sectors of the city, it's definitely the majority, like the east side, uh, some sectors of the south side of San Jose. It's all Spanish speaking. So that's definitely something that is like on my bucket list. Definitely wants to learn some type of other language. And again, being out here in California, and we always, me and my girl, talk about moving elsewhere, but we're always still talking, Southern California. We love California. This is where we were born and raised. So definitely want to travel and check out other areas of the world. But I think California is always going to be kind of home to us. It's where our family's at. So Just knowing that, I definitely want to become a little bit more proficient in speaking Spanish. Come to Houston one day. That's the plan. Trying to definitely make my way out there. So this guy says, "Sorry, I can't, but you can text me about the property." So he doesn't want to get on the phone. Um, Quit calling me about my property. It's not for sale. You got $2 million, dumbass. Yeesh. Jeez. We're eventually moving to live in Florida. Love it. Hello? Got a couple buddies who went to the University of Miami. My girl's little sister actually lives out in West Palm Beach right now. She has a job out there and she's in school and stuff. I've never been personally. I've hardly ever traveled. I've been to a couple other states that border California. I've only been on a plane a handful of times. Um, Hello?
Hello, who is this?
Hi, this is Derek. Is this Christy?
No. Why are you trying to get a hold of my mom?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was calling about a property I believe she owns on Bannister Lane.
Yeah, no, she's not wanting to sell.
Oh, okay. Completely understand. Well, I appreciate you taking the call.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye now. I'll take her word for it. She's the daughter. Yeah, I've been to California. I've been to, this is my California, if you didn't get that. California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona. And funny enough, all of those places I drove to. Driving to Lake Tahoe from here is a very common thing. We used to go up there as, hello? Hello? As a family every year. Utah, passing through Nevada to get to Utah. I've been to Salt Lake City, and that was for like a senior year. It wasn't my senior trip. It was during my senior year. It was like a party bus thing where we took a bus. It's pretty cool, actually. I was like 17 years old, but went to Utah, drove a bus from California to Salt Lake City, Utah. Arizona, same thing. This was in college. I drove from San Jose, California, through all the way down Southern California into Arizona. And then I've taken a couple flights recently. In recent years, we went to Cancun, Mexico, and been to Kauai 2 times. That was the most recent trip that we took for my girl's friend's wedding. Went out there in early September, mid-September. So that's the last trip that we took. Really like Mexico. Uh, really like it. People out there are so nice. Like, it hurts how nice they are out there. The hospitality is A1. At least in the place that we were. It was like incredible. One day, me, you, and our girls can take a trip somewhere. Absolutely. Absolutely, Jared. The more that I learn about you and your girl, you guys are very similar. The lifestyle. My girl is, she's been plant-based for some time, years actually. I'm not going to make it seem like it was something recent. She's on, definitely a spiritual journey. Hello? Not to make that sound like woo or weird. She's definitely tapped into like a higher frequency than others. And I think that everybody should tap into that frequency. But they'll be good for, yeah, and I see you guys on the crystals. She's big on the crystals. Let me see if you can see it from here. She got some crystals right on the nightstand there, right in front. What does she got over there? She has some. I could be messing this up. She got some quartz, some is it pink opal? Um, I have some what is it, lapis lazuli as well. She's big on chakras. Uh, she was into Buddhism for a little bit. Not like she's well, she definitely studied it, but she wasn't like practicing it like crazy. She just agreed with the concepts and the mentality behind it. Trying to think of what else were the similarities. She has a lot of crystals and gemstones though. That's for sure. That was something that first drew my attention when you followed me on Instagram. Yeah, I can't lie. I'm lagging in terms of my spiritual journey, uh, but I'm very open to it. I don't put it into practice as much as I should. Um, whereas she's practicing it every day, all day long. And when she communicates it to me and tells me what she's doing, I'm listening to it with open ears, whereas a lot of people would be turned off and shut off to that, even that conversation at all. But uh, yeah, it's like I hear it, and when it comes to that type of stuff, she's never drilling it down my throat, which I appreciate, because a lot of people in that realm it's very easy to do that, to think that you've tapped into this higher frequency, and then in wanting to share it with other people, you end up like becoming a pest about it, like religion, any religion, there's a line, a threshold that is very easily crossed where you're trying to just share it with people. And then when you cross that line, it's like wanting to convince people that this is the best way to live your life. And she definitely doesn't do that, which I always appreciate. And for that reason, I'm willing to listen to it with open ears and not cast judgment. Yeah, not forcing anyone. Yeah. It's a delicate balance because especially being in a relationship. Like I can only imagine how difficult it is for her. She shares it with me how difficult it is sometimes, where she feels like she's found the answer, or like she's tapped into something that she wishes she could share with everybody in the world. But she knows that there's a delicate balance of not wanting to force it down anybody's throat. But at the very least, she would love to share it with her significant other, being me. You know, and that's why I do my best to give her that outlet to at least share it with me. And I admit as well that I can do a better job of that. That's something that we've been talking about recently, not just even about the whole spiritual thing, but um, just in general. When she learns something new, I want to I want to be able to provide her that outlet to express herself and share what she's learning. And she uses her own Instagram page and stuff as well to do that, which is why I also, love her for that. Where that's the best place, I think, and that's the best way to use social media. Put it out, put what you're wanting to share with the world out there, and allowing people to gravitate towards you. Whereas, you could be standing on the street corner and preaching to every car that drives by. Those are the people that are annoying. Sure, take mushrooms or any other psychedelics? No, but we've talked about it. She'd be interested. She's like a smaller girl, and there is a little bit of fear behind it. I think she has expressed interest in wanting to do it, but I can't lie. Like I'm almost worried for her, and I know that going into the trip, you have to go into it with an open mind, and that's why I think I've wanted to avoid it because I just I wouldn't want to trip with her. That's for sure. I would want to what do they call, like, be your guide, or um even when it came to like smoking weed, like she would take like a couple of hits and I'd be like, okay, that's enough, like because I just don't want to be responsible for that, for her having a bad trip or anything. But we've definitely talked about it. I myself have dabbled in it. I think I shared that once on the channel. I'm not to the point where I think that it I know that I didn't do enough. I know that I wasn't in like the proper setting to really benefit the way that you're supposed to be. Um, this is some real personal stuff here, y'all. But I'd be interested. I'm open to that. all my buddies, a couple of my buddies are big on mushrooms, acid. Not big on it, but you know, they do it the way that it's intended to be done, which I appreciate. You know, when you get to abusing it, then it's like, okay, why are you really even doing it? She have any friends? My girl doesn't everyone be on the same other shit, not the same frequency. She doesn't. She doesn't really. That's funny you asked. It's really yeah. When I first met her 6 7 years ago, she was going through that phase of realizing, I call these people my friends, but I only really call them my friends because I went to high school with them, and when I really sit back and reflect on it, they don't treat me well. They don't treat me with respect that I feel like I deserve, and they're not on the same frequency as me, like you're saying. So as I met her, it was kind of, she was coming to that realization, and um, it was perfect for her because now she had somebody to spend time with and to share these things with, and didn't felt so isolated and alone because she cut herself off from her friends. I kind of did the same thing. It wasn't as serious as hers realization, but I also realized, like, my boys who I went to high school with, like, um, love them to death, but I realized it wasn't really benefiting me, kind of just hanging around with them. I knew that I was entrepreneurial at my core, and that I still do this I always want to take the journey with somebody else. I think that's very natural. It's a human thing, which is why people form, like, mastermind groups or little groups so that they can share and feel like they're on the journey with somebody else who's like-minded. And then, yeah, at one point I kind of just realized, like, I'm never going to be able to convince somebody to start a business with me, or at least my friends. Like, they're never going to be as gung ho about it as me, and it's not right for me to catch judgment on that. Hello,
Hey,
hi there. Sorry, I'm not sure if I have the right number here. Hopefully, you can help me out. So I was looking for the owner of a property on East 39th.
hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Am I speaking with the owner of a property on East 39th Street?
I think somebody had this number before, but we get this new number this month. So
Oh, okay.
nobody on this number.
Completely understand. Well, hey, while I have you, would you happen to have any property that you'd be interested in selling at the moment?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the call.
Okay, bye.
Bye now. Oops. Mark that down. Interesting. So that, again, we kind of came to the same realization, just at different times and in a little bit different, because, again, her old friends kind of treated her like shit. Like, they kind of used her as the whipping boy, again, whipping girl, where they felt better about themselves by, poking fun at her. Typical high school girl drama, to be honest. For me, it was more so like, I knew that if I wanted to ever excel in my own life, that I needed to create the distance and separate myself from that. Only because we weren't on the same journey entrepreneurially. Entrepreneurially, is that a word? It is now. But yeah, so we kind of went. It was kind of just like a perfect storm where we found each other when both of us were having this realization. We realized no bad trip is actually bad. It's just you feeling uncomfortable, making you see stuff that you need to fix about yourself, work on. Exactly. And I know that. I guess it's just fear based, like me not even wanting to. I don't want to confront my demons. I don't want to face my fears. And I think that's a big deal. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. And I think you're absolutely right. I was in that phase then when I met my girl. I started putting her on mushrooms and acid, and then she basically rewired her brain. Yeah. I never really had any friends so far. You're the only one I know actually trying to make shit happen to be successful, and I trust you. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? That's why I really, when I think of that, I think of the Discord group. I really, and I think the big part right there is the trust, Jared. I trust you fully as well, and I think that it's kind of like especially somebody on this frequency, you people like us have good judge of character. You know, um, I knew right away. I didn't need to vet you or come to the realization that you were somebody that I was going to trust in the future. Once you proved yourself worthy, you just kind of know. When somebody's trustworthy, it's apparent. So definitely, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get on the same page. I'm trying to have a small group, because once it gets to be a little too big, then it's just inevitable that those type of snakes get involved. So I'd love to create like a little small group where people are doing what we've been doing, Jared, kicking opportunity back and forth, just providing value. Like when you hear people say that, you hear it and you're like, oh yeah, whatever that means. Like provide value however you can. But like that's exactly what we're doing. Your girl calls my Spanish leads. I run the comms for you. You run the comms for me. So we just bounce each other. I call your leads and lowball them. I call your leads and give them an offer higher. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that needs to be happening, especially nowadays in this industry where it's receiving so much scrutiny. Um, it's the people that I'm referring to where they're just kind of snakes and they'll always be snakes. Those are the people that are operating unethically and going to ruin it for the rest of us. So I hear you when you say that. Bad trips kind of force you to change, but only the people who can put it together. Most people take it and don't get any better. They just want to see colors and visual stuff. Right. Right. Yeah. It all depends on the intentions. I hear that. I wonder who else is in here. We got 3 people in here. Somebody's in here just soaking this in, just loving this conversation. All right. Did I hop off yet? No, I'm still on here. All right, oh no, I did not hopped off. All right, let me give you a little snapshot of. God, I really need to make my follow-up calls. I don't have the time today, but God, hold me accountable tomorrow. I'm gonna be making my follow-up calls. Today, contacted 11 people. Let me make. And then yesterday, I wanted to see. I don't know how many people I contacted yesterday. Nobody. I thought I called it. Oh no. It was 2 days ago. This week, Monday through Sunday, I've contacted 39 people. Not nearly enough. That's what I need to be doing like every day. That's on 3 days of dialing. So I'm averaging like what? 13 a day. I don't want to beat myself up too much because soaked, says Ian. I knew somebody was in here just like, oh my God, what the hell are these people talking about? But I don't want to beat myself up too bad about that contact rate right there because I know that that's more than other people are doing. So 13 a day, I'd like to get that to at least 20 a day, at least to the point where I'm knocking out like 80 I want to do like 100 at least minimum a week, where that's going to give me like probably 2 maybe 3 warmer leads a week. But yeah, that'll also increase once I start calling through. I'm calling some really old, not really old, but because clearly they're still answering, so they're not beat up so much so that people aren't going to be answering. But my contact rate is going to increase significantly once I start calling fresher lists. And again, I'm like today, I think I had a 25% abandon rate. So on 252 that were connected, I had how many of those? 13 were abandoned. So that's potentially, a good handful of people that I could have connected with as well. Okay, did you have a moment to hop on a quick phone call so I can learn a little bit more about the place? Sorry, I can't, but you can text me. Okay, no worries. The place looks to be in good condition. Do you mind me asking why you're looking to sell? calling me about my property. It's not for sale. You got $2 million, dumbass. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove him from my dialer as well. Not wanting to ever talk to that gentleman. You're a dumbass. Should I say that with a cry face emoji? Call me a dumbass. All right. Okay. That's that. Let me know what's going on with Maria Jared if you guys are able to get a hold of her. And if Randa thinks that agreement looks good, as long as I know it's translated directly. I just want to again make sure that it's kind of like conversationally translated as opposed to just the word for word translation, because I know that the meaning kind of gets lost sometimes when you translate it like that, or like the message involved. But yeah, keep me updated on that. Let's get that one locked up. I was thinking about this too. So that one sold 125 as is, but it was in decent enough condition where it probably was going to pass inspection. So if it was purchased by a retail buyer and not an investor, we would have to consider the commissions that the real estate agent earned on that. Meaning that, you know, if that one sold for 125, I think ours could sell for 115 as is. If that one went to an investor, but if that one went to a retail buyer, yeah, if that one went to a retail buyer, then I think we have to consider the commissions involved, right? So like it sold for 125, but really an investor who's buying it as is may only pay 115. That makes sense. I think I'm making sense in that. No, I don't even think that makes sense. Because even if it was a retail, I don't know. I think there's some rhyme to my reason here. Because I don't know if it was a cash sale. I don't know if it was a as is cash sale on market. All I know is that it was an on market as is sale, but it could have gone to a retail buyer. In which case, if an investor was looking to do like a wholesale on our subject property here to then market it to a very similar retail buyer who would be willing to buy it like they bought the other one, then you would have to consider uh, the commissions involved. So like if it could sell for 115 on market as is, you'd probably they would only be walking away with like 105, and then to get it like up to speed they may have to pay 10, 15. So I think 90 is like the max, and at 90 we're going to be splitting hairs trying to come up with an assignment fee of like a couple thousand at that, right? And then we would have to find the perfect buyer. So I think really our max should be 85. um so just something to keep in mind for sure. We've been out all day, almost back home, then we can call her for sure, no rush. Hopefully I'm not coming across like coming across rude. I just was throwing it out there. All right. You guys are in here. Appreciate you guys again. Love you guys. Do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe button before you leave if you haven't already. Going to be taking my dog out, running around with him. He needs to get a little exercise in. And then I'm going to be out for the day. Hop back on tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to get on a little earlier than I did today. I had to deal with my dog. I think he has another ear infection, so we were treating that and stuff. Gave him a bath, cleaned up the place a little bit just in case he's getting it from something around the house. But yeah, appreciate you guys. And I will hop back in here and see you guys tomorrow. Do me a favor again, if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe button. Check out the links in the description. I would love for any and all of you guys to join us in the Discord group so that we can stay connected when I'm not on stream. That's going to be the best way to get a hold of me or anybody else in the Discord group. Like I was just mentioning, I'd love to create a little bit of a tight-knit group where we can bounce ideas off each other, help each other out in any way possible in wholesaling or anything real estate related. Um, Share ideas with how each other may benefit uh, in the business and anything that we can implement or change in our business. Just love to create a little bit of a community with you guys. So that's going to be the best way to get a hold of me again on the Discord group, or my Instagram link is in the description as well. So you can go ahead, feel free to slide in my DMs. I have a few people doing that every so often. So if you are one of those people, do me a favor and check out the Discord as well, because my um, I don't have my what am I trying to say? I don't have my notifications on for Instagram, so I'm only ever gonna see when somebody DMs me when I open up my Instagram app, but I do have my notifications on for the Discord. So that's gonna be the best way to get a hold of me. And yeah, appreciate you guys again. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Till the next one. Peace.